Underdog Fantasy is the fastest-growing fantasy app and easiest place to play fantasy sports. Just jump on UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app, draft your team, and that's it. And if drafts aren't your thing, they also have a pick'em game where you can win 20 times your money in a single night. Use promo code RADIO, and Underdog will double your first deposit when you sign up with up to $100 in bonus cash. Deposit $100, get $100 free. That's promo code RADIO. Terms and conditions apply.
At Metro by T-Mobile, we're giving you more savings. Get the new iPhone SE now with 5G at the lowest price in prepaid. Just $79.99 when you switch.
I post a lot, so I need a phone that keeps up with me. And thanks to the iPhone SE with 5G and advanced 4K camera, I'm snapping and sharing while my followers are smashing the like button.
Switch and get the iPhone SE for just $79.99. Only at Metro. Limited time offer, in-store only, price per 64GB model with eligible port, $60 plan and ID. See 5G device coverage and access details at metrobytmobile.com.
So, Curtis, I finally got to watch the Windy City Con. I know, Windy City Con, that's a comic convention, but Windy City Riot. And I know we said we weren't going to talk about it on this show because we don't have a lot of time today. But I'm going to talk about it real quick because it was a fucking banging show, which then sort of reiterated all my madness that we were talking about last time, where it was such a shame they did it the way they did. If they had released it like a normal show, I feel like it would have been talked about at the time, like, this is one of New Japan's shows of the year. But instead it was shuffled into like a Fight TV, terribly produced box that nobody cared about. And it's a real shame. Because even if you just talk about the main event alone, I feel like that was like both, like two of those guys' best matches, and maybe what could have been Will Ospreay's most famous match to date.
And the thing is, right now, New Japan's on an actual tear. Mm-hmm. And whose idea was it to start a New Japan podcast like right now? Because they're a fucking genius.
Actually, it was Count Out. It was Count Out's idea.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
Count Out fucking reached out. They had heard your boys talking shit, and they're like, you know what we need? We have the foresight. We can see down the track that there's going to be an opening for more New Japan content because New Japan's about to pop off. And so who do we need? We need to draft number one draft picks, Raffe and Curtis.
All the way from Lake Minnetonka.
Exactly.
The number one draft pick.
The cooling
coming
waters.
At your boy.
The cooling
6'4", 230 pounds. Power forward out of University of Minnesota. Speaking of Count Out, maybe we need to introduce ourselves. This is a Count Out podcast production of Okada Shorts, the New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast. We are the Kings of Pod Style, the International Wrestling Grand Prix. I'm your good friend Curtis Spears. Right over there, that's your bad friend Rafe Houston. And we're here to talk about Shin Nihon Puroresu. And I'm sure that I sounded like an asshole saying it that way, but that's okay.
I like it when you do that kind of stuff because I don't even attempt it. Because I'm a fucking butcher. And I'm the guy who's been to Japan like many, many years running.
Humble brag.
Yeah, humble brag. But like, I get worse at Japanese with every year that goes on. I swear the first time I was there, man, I was dropping it. And the thing that's wild is that out of, like, I normally go there, at least the last few trips had been just myself, my wife, and our friend Mo. Mo has a Japanese mother. She like is Australian, but can understand her mother speaking Japanese, right? And can communicate in it. Amy is a borderline genius. and can like read Japanese and do all this. But both of them don't really like to speak to people, so I'm the face, is what they call me. They're like, you're the face, figure it out. So I'm always the person that's like accosting strangers in the street or like buying stuff or ordering at the restaurants. And I'm like, you motherfuckers can speak this language. But instead you've got me. They call me the omelette also. There's a long story with that. But you've got the omelette. I'll tell that story in a second. Going, 2? Like, and just holding up my fingers. So they're like, yeah. And then like trying to communicate. But being the charming individual I am, it always ends up into a lovable story between me and the Japanese people. So that's pretty awesome.
You scamp.
Yeah, exactly. Why I'm called the omelette. One morning we were walking through the streets of Tokyo really, kind of early to mid-morning. It's like maybe a 7, 8 before everything opens up, and it's like it's cold because we go in January, but it's like, nice diffused sunlight. Everybody's starting their day. People are like brushing down their driveways and stuff, and we're going through this little business kind of market district. Everyone's like, "Ohayo," which means good morning. See, I know that one, motherfuckers. And we're doing that, and I'm like, man, this is where I need to live. I could be of use to this community, and I'm like, I could like lift heavy things or move things around, like just real simple menial tasks because I couldn't speak to anybody or do anything.
It's a distinct lack of podcasts over there.
Yeah. Well, especially in English. And then as we walk around the corner, there's like a okonomiyaki restaurant, and out the front of a lot of Japanese restaurants, they will have like cutouts of like the thing they say that you can put your face through. And this particular one's mascot was like an omelette man. It was like a okonomiyaki with like arms and legs. And I'm like, look, I could even be the full-time omelette for this place where I just stand there and tell people to come into the restaurant. So then that was the running joke that I'm the simple omelette that lives in the neighborhood that can then just like lift anything heavy or wave Ohio to people because that's all I could be of good to the community.
That's all you can say. That's the only.
Exactly. So that's why I was the omelette. Anyway, I promised you, and we were just saying to the listeners that we're not going to fuck around today. We're getting straight into what matters, and that's quickly talking about Dontaku because it was an absolute banger, and we need to do it its justice. And then we're going to run down the absolute fire card that is Best of the Super Juniors.
That's right. The other thing that I wanted to touch on, there's one more thing that I was going to surprise you with.
It wouldn't be us if we just did what we said we were going to do, so it's fine.
I want to talk about the prospective matches that they've got going that they're building for Capital Collision, which is the next New Japan of America show.
Haven't even looked at
a bunch of Japanese talent.
Tell me.
Let's run down that. Let's run that down right now. You have seen one of them.
Is it on Fight or is it actually on New Japan World?
I'm pretty sure this one's going to be on Fight with Japanese on New Japan World.
I'll watch it in Japanese on New Japan World. I don't care. It's just my level of caredom depends on if I can just get it on my streaming service or not.
So there's 4 matches.
Okay, let's run it.
I'm going to start with what I think is the lowest card on the match on the card, and I'm going to build up to it. Okay.
Go.
Jay White and Hikuleo versus Okada and Trent Beretta.
That's cool.
That's
I like that.
Cool, right?
Yeah, I like that. I like that they're starting to do some stuff with Hikuleo finally as he's gotten better. They've given him some time. Didn't they have a Jay White Open challenge with him as well, where he was just kind of like fronting up to him a little bit, and we don't really know if he is like mad about the GOD situation or whatever. They've kind of left it in the air. I haven't watched it. Yeah.
So we're going to see that one pop off. It's going to be really good.
Okay, cool.
Shorts.
Oh, that'll probably be a shorts. Yeah.
Okay, next one. I think this is going to blow your skirt up. Brody King versus Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, that's hot. I know exactly what it's going to be, and I'm all about it. And for people that haven't listened to this podcast before, we rate potential matchups or matchups that we've seen with either shorts or pants. Shorts being amazing, just like the sparkly shorts of Kazuchika Okada, or pants, as in the
Cowardly
era
pants.
where he had the terrible cowardly pants and had balloons, and it was a bad time. Exactly.
Awful.
Okay.
So yeah, Brody King versus Minoru Suzuki. That's going to be fun. Maybe
That's
a 10-minute match of them
It's going to be hot.
hitting each other in very safe places and making funny faces and things like that.
Exactly. What match did I see recently that was absolute fire from Suzuki. It happened just recently, and I was like, that was fucking
Was
sick.
was it Suzuki and Ishii that
No, you know what it was? It was Suzuki and Samoa Joe, and it fucking slapped.
Oh yeah,
that was so good. I was like, since he's been doing this US tour, you'll quite often get like a Suzuki match, air quotes, a lot of slapping, a lot of, faces, that kind of stuff. That's how you do a Suzuki match. The intensity between those two guys was just killer. Anyway, sorry, I'm derailing you.
That's all right. Here's another one. This is the one we talked about this last episode. Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston. So you weren't dreaming. That match was advertised. Capital Collision, not Forbidden Door.
There we go. Well, that is probably because I didn't know Capital Collision was a thing. So
okay. Yeah, that also makes sense. Here's the one that I'm really looking forward to. 4-way match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship.
What?
Your girlfriend, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Oh, sweet.
Versus Jon Moxley. Versus Will Ospreay. Versus Rock Hard Juice Robinson.
Oh, shit. That's...
Shorts.
That's hot. Is that the main event?
Yeah.
Probably the main
they
event.
haven't announced where it's going to be, but I think that's going to be the main event probably.
That's so hot, and any single one of those people is a super valid person to hold it. That's like, how do you even predict who it could be?
Right?
Oh, I love it. That's shorts as hell.
That match is gonna fuck.
Yeah, that's
so good.
That's what you would say, like 80s camp instructor shorts, like as like high as they can be.
That's the cast of Sleepaway Camp shorts. That's what that is.
Yeah, that's
John Stockton shorts.
Yeah,
that's what that is. That's good stuff.
No, that's awesome.
And that can get us right into wrestling Dontaku, because I did mention Rock Hard Juice Robinson there, and we'll get there in a second. Yeah. As a whole, what did you think of Dontaku?
I thought it was a banger. We've been talking about how New Japan's back in a big way, and I couldn't agree more after that show. Like, they did everything that you'd want to see. I didn't know or didn't remember that it was the anniversary of Bullet Club. Had I, my predictions would have definitely started to slant quite a bit more heavily in Bullet Club's direction, because when they started saying that at the start of the show, I'm like, oh, this is about to be a Bullet Club fest. But they did it, and then even revealing a new member, and then Jay White actually being in Japan and stuff like that, and I was like, there's going to be a picture at the end of all of them together with all the belts they can get on them that day. Like, it's going to be a showing out party for them, and it felt like it, man. It was really cool, and it felt like Bullet Club was cool again, or at least as close to cool as it can be. In the changes that it has undergone recently,
You mean while they still have Gallows and Anderson as members?
No, I think Gallows and Anderson, to be honest, add a cool factor for me, because they are, say what you want about I think actually Anderson's a really good wrestler, but say what you want about them as a tag team or things and stuff like that. They were a big part of it when it was in that kind of cool era. You know what I mean? Like, and I think when you see them there, it adds a credibility to Bullet Club that it didn't have when it's like House of Torture and Gato. It felt like a Gaijin stable again now that they could finally bring people back, because it was at a point for a while there where it felt super watered down, and it was just like, hey, we're Jado and Gato, we've just put ourselves in charge of like the coolest stable, even though there's no cool people here to be in it. Like, was how it felt. So it's like, hey, we're all young hip kids that can do the too sweet, and I'm like, you're all very old and nobody cares about this. So it felt like a return to Bullet Club, especially having Anderson there and having Bad Luck Fale there makes it, Bullet Club, and then it legitimizes, in my eyes, like a Jay White more and the other guys more. Because otherwise it just felt like a hostile takeover, but then it's not Bullet Club. It's like we're all guys wearing the Bullet Club logo, but none of us are the original guys, and it just feels watered down. And so when you put them back in, I just felt like it felt a little bit more credible. Some people may hate it, but I like it.
we can, we're skipping to the end, obviously, but like when you see all of them at the top of the ramp and they're all, toasting beers and things like that.
I love that
the
they were
songs
drinking
playing
beers
in the
and
background.
Stuff. Yeah, exactly. And it's the original boom, boom, boom. Like, it's just really cool. Everyone's wearing
Shot 'Em by Kubrick is the name of that song.
Yeah.
Great tune and just a great moment to end the show with. But let's start at the beginning here.
Yeah, please.
So we had LIJ with X taking on Suzuki-gun. X turned out to be Shiro Koshinaka, the very first IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty cool.
I had not seen him before, or if I had, it might have been in a Rambo or something, and I didn't know who he was or whatever. But as they like laid out his history and stuff, I thought that was a cool addition to the team. When they had to swap out, I was like, I wonder if they'll get another legend, or we were even fantasy booking new members. But it was a fun match with giving a legendary sort of, time in the sun and everybody paying respects to him. It was cool. And he could still go. Really nice. I thought he was pretty good.
He was doing great. Yeah. He wasn't looking brittle or anything out there, so that was fun. Yeah. And Taichi gets the win over Shingo, which means that we're going to have more KOPW shenanigans.
Yep, it's not over yet.
So maybe we'll get to that fucking island already.
Maybe we're getting
to that fucking island.
Let's get there. Let's bring it back.
All right.
All right.
Next match, Hiromu beats the shit out of Yo in about 10 minutes on the nose with 2 time bombs in a row. Time bomb and then time bomb 2. What was the fucking point of this match other than to make Hiromu look like he's so far above Yo it's not even a problem?
What has Yo done? Like backstage or whatever, that they're just like,
where's the heat?
Whipping this guy within an inch of his life. Like, I almost think this was to give Hiromu like a bit of a remember how good Hiromu is, because he's about to lose Best of the Super Juniors hard and lose to Yo hard in the Best of the Super Juniors.
Well, they were trying to sell it on comms like, oh, he's Yo's just a big match player. Like he didn't really do anything until his back was against the wall last year in Best of Super Junior and stuff. It's like, okay, well, here's Wrestling Dontaku, one of your biggest shows of the year, against the ace of the junior division, someone who's so good that you want to actually move him up to the next, to the next level and possibly make him a heavyweight. And he's just going to get fucking schooled. He got absolutely shit canned.
Yeah, it was brutal.
What the fuck was the point of that?
Yeah, we were like, why does this match even exist? And I still left feeling like that. It hasn't made me like Yo in any way or think he's convincing or whatever. And then if he gets really far in Best of the Super Juniors, again, it's just like, oh, this fucking guy, because he never does anything cool. So, yeah, I'm done with him at this point. They've got quite a bit of rebuilding to do, in my eyes with Yo.
Yeah. So next match was Tangolo and Yujiro Takahashi, which was a match that happened. I don't have any notes.
I do. The kind of Vegeta-style gear that Tangolo was wearing was pretty cool. His new kind of white sort of Super Saiyan sort of gear I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was...
I'm not really a big Dragon Ball Z guy, but I thought it looked nice, looked clean. That was good.
Certainly was the thing.
Yeah, Yujiro matches, it's pretty rare they're good. And occasionally they'll do something in a tournament or something that will make me not hate it, but yeah, it happened. And then we move on to the next match, which
was Team 6 or 9 beats Kanemaru and Doki. Ryusuke Taguchi introduces his anus to Yoshinobu Kanemaru's nose.
We could be done with that.
Yeah, he came out with his underwear on his head.
I've defended Taguchi quite a few times. I think you remember in one of our previous episodes, I don't know where it was, or if it was the prequel one or whatever, I kind of went on a bit of a rant about how Taguchi is sort of essential to New Japan. And I feel the same about Yano. They're a breath of fresh air, and they're doing something different, and not everybody can be a super serious wrestler. And in tournaments, they play their part and things like that. I'll go into it more when we talk about Best of Super Juniors, but I'm very concerned about his inclusion in this upcoming Best of the Super Juniors.
I mean, everybody needs the night off at some point.
Yeah, but does
know?
everybody need to like have a man's bare ass on their face? Because I feel like that's the way this is going.
I'm sure there's some people that would enjoy that. And you know what? If you are, please email us at
What?
countoutpod@gmail.
Don't
address,
email
address
us
that.
about it.
Address that to Ryan. At
Yeah,
countoutpod.
yeah, exactly. I think I think that's fine, but like as if that's like his new finishing move, it gets old real fast.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. That wore thinner. Wore thinner than the sheer pantaloons that he was wearing to sit on other people's faces.
Exactly the G-string type scenario that he's got. Anyway, I just kind of thought that this.
Watto,
Yeah.
Watto looked okay.
This team is supposed to be helping Watto. Is the way I thought this was going to go, but the way it's going is not helping him. Like it's like imagine like training your whole life. Imagine getting out of high school and being as young as Watto was, going into the New Japan dojo and really, really working and dedicating your life to something. Then imagine transplanting your life, moving to Mexico, which I'm sure is a challenging thing to do when you're a Japanese-speaking individual. You're in there, you're training with those guys, you're doing the shows, you're probably seeing murders in the streets of Mexico. Who knows? You come back haunted and different. Then
1,000-yard stare that he had.
1,000-yard stare, very shook. Then you're given the gimmick Way of the Grandmaster, and you're put in pink and blue, and you're like, look, you know what? Not everybody gets a perfect gimmick first time out. I'm going to do my best to make it work. I'm really struggling. I'm shell-shocked to some extent, but I'm going to work hard. I'm going to train with Kota Ibushi. He's super weird, but now I'm getting my body right. I'm fixing it up. I'm starting to jack up a little bit. What's this? They're pairing me with veteran Taguchi. Cool. You know what? Finn Balor was paired with Taguchi. They became tag champions. He went on to be one of the biggest wrestlers in the world. I'm going to use this as a springboard and apply myself to my craft even more and become the next big thing in wrestling. And then this shit starts to happen. And you're like, oh, so we're the ass team now. Fuck.
Taguchi-san, what's our gimmick? Ass.
I was already the ass guy, and we call it a hip attack on commentary, and maybe like this gentleman that we saw in the very first match apparently wanted like a hip attack master, and everybody's like respects that, and this is where we are now. And you know what? Billy Gunn made a hell of a career for himself as Mr. Ass, but it's with him to this day, to the point where people call his sons the Ass Boys. And I saw him at a rec centre in Perth, Western Australia, and he was getting his ass out even then as like a man well over 50. So is this the legacy that you're going to have to live, you know?
There's a million miles of difference between a hip attack as one of your, or 60% of your offense, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And literally sitting bare ass on a man's face.
No, he took a liberal jump between one to the other, and then he did the first one, and it was just like, we're in a grudge rivalry, and I'm going to give this guy a bit of a stink face or a moon while it's been done. Yeah, and everyone was like, oh, okay, that was
fruit basket for Mr. Phantasmo.
Exactly, and we were like, oh yeah, you know what? He's a shitbag heel. That's pretty funny. Blah, blah, blah. But then now he's gone, that really got over with the boys. Time to add the G-string with some kind of symbol on it. And I'm like, oh, this is becoming way too frequent. Twice is too frequent. So, yeah.
He's like that dude that has the one joke that he told once and got a big reaction. So now he tells it in front of every group. It doesn't matter if he's told it in front of certain people or not. He's like George Costanza in that episode of Seinfeld where he keeps going to see the same movie so he can shout the same joke at the same moment. I can't. I don't want to see, like, okay, I love you, Taguchi, my wife's favorite wrestler in the world. I love him to death, but Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah, that's Yeah. Anyway,
Calm it
we've
down.
given this way too much attention, but I'm sure Watto isn't stoked, is how I feel.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
you're probably
he's
right.
like trying to go out of the ring and he's trying to hold his belt and be proud, and the ref's like, you've got to help this guy pull his pants up. Like, it's just...
Get a lion to do that. Get a young lion to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold Uncle Taguchi's fucking drawers up.
Yeah.
The drunk Uncle Taguchi got his fucking ass out again.
Yeah, Jesus
All right.
Christ. Anyway, we've given this way too much time.
Funky weapon indeed. Moving on to the fifth match.
Moving on.
IWGP Tag Team Championship match is a three-way match. Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto.
Go to sleep.
That's right. I'm fucking tired. Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto versus Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan versus Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens. And Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens get the win over Hiroki Goto.
This was quite a good
so
match.
the champions,
Making it a
weren't
tornado
even
match
pinned.
was pretty good, don't you think?
I really liked having all of them in the ring together, like the Texas Tornado kind of rules.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. I liked the way that they interacted. It was funny. It was just like four dudes who could like bench press a house, and then like you got Yoshihashi and Chase Owens running around. Like,
Tell me this.
Trying.
Tell me this. Why is Goto taking the fucking pin? Twice now to the new finisher from Fale and Owens. That fucking like pleb fucking Yoshihashi should be laying down and looking at the lights.
Yoshihashi's the hero now.
No, he's not.
You don't know. Yoshihashi's the best. He's the man.
Do you remember when the graphic comes up? It's like next match, and it goes shh, and it shows all three teams. Did you see the look on Yoshihashi's fucking face?
He did look like he just walked in on his parents having sex.
He was
like,
not ready for that photo. They're like, okay, time for the promo photo. Click, and he's like, what? Like he's just like so out of place in like a ring full of killers. Like, and it's just him just like just being, yeah. And I like Yoshihashi, really, but come on. Goto is by far his superior. But Goto doesn't give a fuck.
If I had to face that wall of beef, I would make that fucking face too.
Yeah, he's like, wait, I'm in this match.
You know what impressed me the most about this match is when Jeff Cobb would get somebody up for the Tour of the Islands, the crowd would just go fucking nuts. I know, and I say go fucking nuts when like they're supposed to be being quiet, but you hear them clapping, you hear them go, oh, like they know.
Yeah, they know that if it hits, it's over. Yeah, exactly. They've built that finish perfect. But yeah, I really liked the match. I thought it was really cool. And then we were joking and saying that we didn't think there was a chance Bullet Club would win. Obviously, it was their anniversary. They did. I wonder how long a run we see with the belts with these guys. Before, because I feel like United Empire got it and they were planning to go on a tear, and then they were like, oh fuck, we forgot Dontaku's next weekend. All right, let's flip it to Bullet Club and then we'll throw it back to the plan later, you know.
Yeah, I think that it was probably the wrong move to even bother putting it on Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan if they're going to take it right off of them.
Yeah.
I mean, O'Khan's had a really stop-start build since he got back, and I feel really bad for him. I thought maybe a good, solid tag team championship run would be really nice.
I mean, they didn't take the pin, so you just create the issue there, I guess. You got to have lots of cool photos with them getting around America with the belts. You flip it onto those guys, and then O'Khan and Cobb can be pissed off because they're like, we didn't even get pinned. Why were these losers even in the fucking match when they'd just been beaten by both teams?
What we said.
Yeah,
that's exactly. What we said last episode. So, those guys did not deserve to be in this match.
At least the logic was there. If they had, I mean, that was why they put them in the match, because they were going to flip it. Because you wouldn't just have Bullet Club just beat United Empire like that. So at least they've set up an issue now, you know. And I think a lot of people would be like, I want to see it back with United Empire. And then also Chase then goes on to use that as a reason to introduce Juice as well. So we'll get to that when we do it. But I felt like it all made sense, but it was an interesting choice.
So the next match was our new fiery babyface Tama Tonga versus Evil.
Fuck yeah. This match was great.
Never open weight championship match, yeah.
Fucking Tama's good, man. That was some
Yeah.
great stuff from Tama. Again, Evil played his role perfect. I really liked it. That finishing kind of sequence, like, I mean, all the bits and pieces and all the moving parts going on were what they were. But that bit at the end where Tama, like, leapfrogs him and then hits the gun stun, like, was sick. Like, it was so athletic.
Everybody was great in this.
Yeah.
Jado was really great trying to keep
Togo,
Togo in keep him
when
in
he
check.
shuts him down
Dick Togo.
eventually, the pop for Jado, man, like you said, fiery babyface Jado was sick. Like, I was like, come on, Jado.
The spot where Tamatanga had him in the Darkness Scorpion,
Yes.
had Evil in one of his own finishing moves,
Yeah.
and then we got Dick Togo running over and ringing the bell.
Oh, that was great.
To make him break. That was great.
See,
that was
that's what we were
super-duper
talking
heel.
about. Like, the interference and stuff of House of Torture isn't a problem. That's wrestling. It's when it's always the same and it's boring that it's an issue, because they were just doing the same stuff over and over. And so even though we did see, like, the garrote wire and stuff in this, it was done really cool. The creative stuff with the bell, Jado fighting them, him
Jado
getting
was swinging that
wasted
kendo
him, wasted him. Tama getting out of the garrote, like, I really enjoyed it. And then Tama taking the win, but then almost immediately being attacked afterwards by Gallows and Anderson's return just made the whole thing a huge deal. Like, he didn't even get to celebrate being the champion. It's his first, like, singles title in New Japan, and didn't even get to live in the moment because he was just stomped out immediately by what was his friend.
It was a great match, great moment. Lots of fun. It felt like a very Western style wrestling match, but
it definitely was.
pretty good.
Don't you think as well it was interesting that Gallows and Anderson didn't attack until after the match? They didn't help Evil and Togo. They could have at any point. They were there, but they waited, and then they made their presence known. And then at the end,
we can talk about it after.
At the end,
there
actually, we'll
was
get
no House of
to that.
Torture.
No, they were completely left out.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
We'll get to that
exactly.
part. All right, next match. El Desperado, your IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, versus Taijishimuri, loses, taps out to the bone lock.
I was like, what the fuck just happened? I couldn't believe it. Like, I was pretty sort of disengaged from the match in general, just because, like, I'm not really about Bone Soldier. We talked about it before. I thought he was giving more of an effort, which should have in itself let me know that he was going to win, because he only seems to care on the times when he's going to win. And yeah, I was like, what the fuck? But I mean, I guess,
I thought this match was great. I was loving every minute of it. I mean,
you like it, Ishimori.
the way that I like Ishimori and I love Desperado. So this was one of the better matches they've had. They have had a couple of matches where they seem disconnected, but this one, like, they were punishing each other, and it was really, really good. I thought the way that Ishimori was working Desperado to set him up for the bone lock, I loved it. And I love Desperado fighting, trying to get him into numero dos, so trying to get him into Guitarra del Angel, and all of his finishing moves, like Ishimori, like a pit bull, like just fighting out of it, going back to the same arm locks and things like that to try and wear Desperado down. I love this match. I thought it was great.
Oh, well, that's nice. So were you in the moment then when he pulls out the win? You obviously probably would have been shocked, but were you happy about it? Were you like, this is cool, maybe we're going to see a different side of Ishimori?
Well, the way they were talking about Bullet Club on comms and things like that, I was like, this is probably expected. Like, I kind of had a feeling it was coming.
When I did
upset.
see Bullet Club win the tag, and when they were talking about the anniversary, there was a little part of me that was like, maybe they're going to collect as many belts as they can on this show. But I was still like, but it's Desperado, like, so. Yeah.
And I've got a feeling that maybe Desperado might go over in Best of the Super Juniors. We'll talk about that when we get there, but we'll see. So the next match was for the vacant IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Hiroshi Tanahashi and Tomohiro Ishii, 23 minutes and 20 seconds. Hiroshi Tanahashi wins with a high fly flow. This was the shit.
This was great.
It
This
was
was
so
them
good.
just pulling each other's offense on each other. Until you've seen
loved it.
Ishii pull a fucking sling blade, you haven't seen anything.
Ishii pulls the sling blade. Hiroshi Tanahashi, he's catching forearms and fucking fighting back against him like Ishii does. Tanahashi, the spot about 10 minutes into the match where they just flipped sides and Ishii was Tanahashi and Tanahashi was Ishii. I was fucking living.
I
dude.
can't get over.
Great.
It was sick. I can't get over how high Ishii had to jump to do the sling blade. He was just like in the air, like he had to jump so high. I was like, the elevation off this tiny dude was nuts, and like Tanahashi dropping vertical brain busters and shit. It was like, it was mental, man. Dude. It was so good. Like, I loved it.
My favorite spot was the dragon screw leg whip off of the top rope.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
That was brutal. That was really cool.
So cool.
Like, in what world are we looking at a show and going, you know what? My favorite matches on this show were Tanahashi and Ishii and Evil and Tama Tonga. Like, what fucking world is that? This is on a card where Naito and Okada, were wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, give me more Tanahashi and Ishii. Like, that was fucking killer, man.
That was so good.
Yeah.
It was right in the sweet spot, like 23 minutes. It didn't need to go any longer. They were starting to slow down a little bit, and boom, that was the finish right there. Great match.
Dude,
great match top to bottom.
Dude, if you told me, you're like, you know what, next year, you're going to watch Dontaku, and you're going to love this match between Tama Tonga and Evil, I would have told you that you were smoking crack. I would have been like, there is no fucking timeline that exists in this space-time continuum like where that has ever been a thing. Like, I'm like, there's no flap of a butterfly wing. There's nothing where that reality is one. You know what I mean? Like, it just isn't a thing. But yeah, so anyway.
And that just shows like you said, give me a reason to care. Yeah. They gave you a reason to care.
100%. That's all it takes. Because all of them can go. All of them are good wrestlers. Well, I mean, there are some exceptions. The pimp. But but even then, look at that. We're in New Japan Cup, the Yujiro Takahashi, the pimp, and Naito was one of our favorite matches. And again, just because of the story that the match told. So yeah, anybody can be it on the day. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. You had done a great job selling me on the idea that Ishii could potentially win. He did not, but it did not matter. Both look like absolute weapons. Tanahashi wins. Now he's going to America, and he's going to have that banger 4-way. So I can't wait for it. It's awesome. Still just having bangers always. Like, yeah.
Yep. He'll never stop. He'll never stop. They'll have to pry a championship out of his cold dead hands, man. He's going to go forever. The 9th match, 60-minute time limit, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Sekai Hebikyu, Kazuchika Okada, the 4th champion, on his 4th defense versus Tetsuya Naito for like the millionth time in the last like 12 months.
Look, how spoiled are we? We were talking about this last time. Like, oh, it's so fucking hard having to watch Okada and Naito 3 times in a year. Like,
let me ask you though. How many more times do you think this match is going to happen? I was watching it
this year.
I was like, no, ever.
Oh, many.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how many. Like, I'm sure they're going to wrestle a couple more times, singles matches, G1s and New Japan Cups and things like that, maybe. But like, how many more times do you think these guys are going to have championship matches together? There's got to be a lot more behind than in front, is what I'm saying, and we need to really appreciate the majesty that they put on every single time.
Yeah, I think they'll probably cool it for a while now. That like this was sort of the big reboot, and they'll probably let it chill, and then next time they come back around, it'll be with some stakes, and again, it will be an absolute classic.
Yeah, I think you're right. The thing about it is, like, these matches are always so very good that, like you said, we're spoiled.
Yeah.
Like the one at New Japan Cup wasn't up to the normal standards. And it was like, they're wrestling again next month. I'm sure that'll be better. And
that's it. They were keeping things in their pocket because they're like, what are we going to fucking do when we're a main event? Like, we just need to, like, knock out something,
I think that this was probably the best one they've had this year, which is saying something because that first one in February was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But I mean, like these two, when you put them together, for me, like their first title match back in 2012 was like the match that sold me on New Japan again. I said, this is it for me, man. You know, so I love these two. I'll watch them wrestle in a fucking broom closet. I don't care, man. I'll just give it to me every time. But like, I really like as I was watching, it was hitting me. I was like, this is one of a handful of times that I'm ever going to see this live again.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ever going to see this and not know what's going to happen next. I'm not going to have to find this on the world and watch it a year later. You know, this is one of the last times that I'm going to, maybe not the last times. This is one of a handful of times that this will ever happen again. And that's irrespective of where they go in their careers. These two are tied together forever.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. This match, like, already these matches, it's just like mediocre excellence, right? Like it's like we're just like I say, spoiled with this kind of stuff. But it was awesome, and I feel like this one was made better than that earlier one that you spoke of in the year because of the stuff that happened after. And they let you marinate in the win and the speech and everything like that, and then it happened, and that as a package creates story, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So directly after Tanahashi's match, he wins the U.S. title.
Oh yes, we cut over it.
Yeah. Chase Owens comes out and he says, "You know what? I beat you last year in like under 10 minutes, and you never gave me a shot at your belt, and now you got a new shiny belt, but I also have a new shiny belt. So instead, let's just give my title shot to someone else." And he gets attacked by a masked opponent. The masked opponent unmasks, and it is rock hard Juice Robinson, the last real man in professional wrestling. This dude worked everybody.
Yeah.
Just worked him.
He did. I mean, he was saying he was done with wrestling. He was saying he was just going to be a house husband for Tony Storm. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you have the opportunity to just like make sure that Tony Storm is happy for the rest of her life, you're probably going to take it. I was like, yeah, dude, totally. Like,
don't go to Japan, bro. Just chill at home. She's making the AEW dollars. You're hanging out. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, fetch her beer and put on Motley Crue records. Make sure she's cool. You know, do you need your pillows fluffed, Tony? Is it cool? You know, that sort of thing. It sounds like a good life to me, man. And he was like, nah, bro, I got to get Big Red back.
Yeah.
I gotta go and get my belt back, bro. So yeah, he no social media bullshit, just fucking shows up and is the talk of the town for like about 45 minutes until Jay White comes back at the end of Okada and Naito.
Exactly. Now, had you been spoiled, or did you expect it to be him? So when he
had been spoiled, yeah.
I had also been spoiled, but like mildly, but only mild enough that I suspected. Like, it was like I opened Instagram or something like that, and I saw a picture of Juice Robinson, not like in the ring with Tanahashi or anything like that, but I wiped it away, and I was like, that's weird. I don't see Juice too often on things. And then as soon as I saw the masked figure, I went, oh, okay, it's Juice. Like, you know, but it was still cool. It was still a big surprise.
I think like getting spoiled for this one specifically made me really excited to see like not just, you know, the actual attack, but actually seeing his promo afterwards. Did you get to watch his promo?
No, I haven't seen it. Is it good?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I mean, Juice has always been a fun promo, but he's taken that sort of fire that he had that was so like made him so fun to listen to, and he's, you know, turned that into a very like dark character now. It's a lot of fun.
Really? Maybe I can play it for the listeners. Give me 2 seconds. Keep vamping for a moment.
Oh, I'll keep vamping. So yeah, like the thing about Juice is like no social media presence whatsoever. So when he comes out to the world specifically to say something, it's usually it's something that we listen to, because he's not that kind of guy that works us or anything like that. He was just like, you know, I'm not really happy with my station. You know, I've been just chilling in Impact for a while, and maybe I'm just done. Maybe I've lost the love. Maybe I've lost the love of professional wrestling. And then he comes out looking like an absolute stud, just clobbers Tanahashi with a couple of finishing moves. I think he did a new finishing move that was like started in like the UFO position and brought him all the way down to like a X Factor face buster, which was pretty cool.
Okay.
If there's any question as to why I just did what I did to Tanahashi, well, you're all fucking stupid. How long did you think that I was gonna play grab ass with Taguchi and friends, huh? How long did you think I was gonna sit on the apron and wait for David Finley to tag me, huh? No, this is my shit. This is my shit. And if you're surprised right now, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Hey, come over here. Somebody come over here. Come here. Get over here. Somebody get over here. Come on. Come on. Come over here. Come here. It's okay. It's okay. Come here. Come here. Here. I want you to give this to fucking Tanahashi and you tell him that Juice Robinson is coming to fucking take it whenever he wants. Whenever he wants.
That was fire. That was cool. I like a fired up Juice Robinson promo, and that was really cool. I was wondering why at the end when they had like, you know, all the photos of them together holding up the belts, I was like, where'd the US title go? I thought he had it. That explains where it went because he gives it to that nice lady to take back to Tanahashi.
Well, I mean, it's Tanahashi's, of course. I mean, it's Juice's.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was
Juice's
just going to like carry it around and be like, you can't even like, I'm just holding on to it because it is mine.
Come and take it.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
and take it.
No, that was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I love that. Like, how long do you think I was going to play grab ass with the Gucci? Like, I was like, yeah, you're right.
I like that promo I talked about on one of my episodes on Face and Feels back in the day and played the promo. That one where, like, his US title promo where he's like, I'll be coming with bald eagles flying out my ass, red, white, and blue. Like, you know.
Juice don't miss, man.
No, when he gets fired up, he can be good. So, yeah, no, I thought that was a cool return. And then, yeah, everything we said about Okada and Naito. And then Okada does his big speech and gives Naito his respect and stuff. We were debating how that whole thing plays out, and Naito doesn't look like a loser, like again losing to Okada. But it reminded me in the moment that it's New Japan and nobody's really a loser when they win. You know, if they get like the respect the proper way and there's the right nods, it's like, he almost got me and stuff like that. It really doesn't hurt anybody. You know what I mean? It's pro wrestling. If it's done the right way.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. And maybe we were being reactionary podcast assholes. Like, that's a thing.
Which we definitely are.
Well, we are the International Wrestling Grand Prix.
Yeah. We're pricks, so shut up about it.
Yeah, I guess. But when you think about Naito's run to the top of the card, like, he's never had a smooth run. He never, like, is dominant. He always just kind of comes in at the last minute and, you know, proves that he can do it. So you can never really count him out, but he does lose more than he wins when it comes to title matches.
Yeah. And I mean, that all plays into the story too, because next time he wins the title, if that happens, it'll be like, look at all these losses he had, but he kept getting back up and got to where he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what made his eventual win over Okada at Wrestle Kingdom so fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, that's what made it hit so hard for us.
I was there. Humble brag. It was great.
Humble brag.
Yeah. And then Kenta fucking ruined it for everybody. And then that is kind of what happened here. So Okada does his big speech. And then basically the Bullet Club attack here was basically the equivalent of like Marvel after credits extra scene, you know, because it felt like
really
I almost turned it off. Like, because normally, like, the speech is happening and stuff and the things rain down. I literally was basically reaching for my remote to, like, turn off my TV because I was done. And then it all went down and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, my whole thing is when I'm done with the show, I'll leave it running in the background while I go make a sandwich or, get a bowl of cereal or something. And that way I can see who the next challenger is when they come out.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess so I'm sitting there making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'm like, all right, this is fine. And then I hear the music stop, and everyone goes, what the hell? What the hell? I'm like, oh shit. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real. Yeah. Jamie's back. Our boy.
Yeah. It was
the
amazing
catalyst.
seeing him back in Japan. And it's funny, right? Because sometimes you think about like the expenses of this stuff. And so they have, paid for a flight to fly in Switchblade for just an after match sequence. And then they're sending him straight back to America again, just to be there for a 10, 15-minute segment, not even that. But it's like, as you're seeing all the pictures and stuff come out, and you're like, it was worth the plane tickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for the buzz, it's worth it. And then I was like, how fucking good a life is that motherfucker living right now? You know what I mean? He's like got his farm. He's in the US. He's doing it. He's doing whatever shows he can in the US, and he's big enough in that company. They'll be like, cool. So we're just going to fly you in for the end of Dontaku. After the match, come out, bit of an attack, bit of a beatdown, a few photos. Then you're heading straight back to America.
Say all your catchphrases,
Yep.
And then have a beer bash with your friends.
You know the ones: Era, sold out Madison Square Garden, last rock and roller. Just drop them all out. Pose with your boys. Just have a beer. Fuck off.
Run through them.
Yeah.
You can get the Rolodex going. Just okay. Here they go. This one. Fans go home happy. Yeah. Beer bash with your friends.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Gallows and Anderson are here.
Yeah. Cool. Get to hang out with them. Would be a fun time, I reckon. So yeah, it was, and it was worth it. Like the photos, everybody talking on the internet. Like it's, it was cool. And like I said, it felt like Bullet Club was cool again for the most part.
Yep. Absolutely.
And
well, I mean, when you think about defining moments for Bullet Club, you've got some defining moments with like a couple with Devitt, a lot of them with AJ Styles, even more with Kenny. This is going to be one of those ones for Jay. Like when we look back at the history of Bullet Club, this really felt like one of those moments where you're like, this is one that's going to be in a video package very soon. History of Jay White's.
If you were doing that, if I was thinking of moments for Jay White, like you think of when he attacks Kenny Omega, when Kenny Omega's like, he's going to be the new member of Bullet Club, and then he attacks him. And then I guess you'd think of like his championship win. You'd think of him, being devastated after his Wrestle Kingdom match with Kota Ibushi. You would think about him confronting Kenny Omega on Impact, even though it never went anywhere. It was pretty epic when he walked out. And then you'd think of this, really. And then it's not like a huge amount of moments in, people's career, but they were all like pretty epic. And so this was like a real standout moment, I think, for him. And especially really getting that photo like the other leaders have had. Like I said, you put the Good Brothers in there, Farley's there, it feels more official and real and all that kind of stuff.
So what can we make of House of Torture not being part of this beer bash?
Yeah, because Jay was even saying, even as he was walking up the ramp into the camera, he's like, I choose who's in Bullet Club. I decide what it is. He's like, Chris Bay, I haven't forgotten you, baby. And he's like shouting out, his boys and stuff like that. But Evil and all those guys were left out completely. And he was even saying, I'm not done, and you don't know who else is going to be and all this stuff. Like, I think House of Torture out in the cold, I think they're going to become their own thing. I don't think they're like really
Bullet Club subsidiary anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like, they came off like henchmen at best, like sub henchmen. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't come out for any of the fun. They didn't have any big like House of Torture moments for this show. This was the Bullet Club anniversary show, and your own subsidiary of it gets left in the cold.
It's left in the cold. And it's like when they had that last kind of biggish moment where Gato came back and House of Torture were like helping them beat up on Tama, and he's like, no, we need to do the high too sweet now and all that stuff. That was like Jay White shot called it. He's like, tell all the boys, take him out. But then that's all they were. They were just hired guns then, and they weren't even worth the respect of like the real moves.
Yeah, it seems like something's coming there. I mean, seems like Bullet Club Civil War is something that's been thrown around for, I don't know, literally like 8 years now. So,
I mean, this isn't really as cool a Civil War as could have been with other members, you know what I mean? Because House of Torture don't even really feel like Bullet Club. They're starting to build their own vibe as well. So maybe they just kind of drop the Bullet Club sort of prefix and are just House of Torture.
Well, I think when they were announcing the Best of Super Junior blocks, that Show's block didn't, his team title card, his name card did not say Bullet Club. It definitely said House of Torture.
Yeah.
But I don't think it said Bullet Club on it.
Exactly.
Whereas like Ishimori's did.
Yeah. Exactly. I think they're just building them into a different faction completely. It'll be interesting to see if they ever address it and have like that kind of Civil War thing, or it just like slowly disappears and nobody ever talks about it. You know?
I think a match between Jay and Evil could be pretty good, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think so. Be interesting. I think people would want to see it. Like, you could have that headline a show. You know, I'm not talking Wrestle Kingdom, but you could do a defense or something like that. Jay takes the title off.
If you look around, there are so many ways to make a difference. At Capella University, our FlexPath format gives you a different way to earn your degree. Take courses at your speed. Move on whenever you're ready. Education should fit your life. Learn more at capella.edu.
Only at Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade to 5G and get more savings with the lowest price on one line of unlimited 5G. Just $40, period. That's it. Taxes and fees included. Plus, more choices with the largest selection of free 5G phones from brands you love, like Samsung. Switch and save more. Only at Metro. Lowest price versus major national prepaid brands. The fraction of users greater than 35 gigabytes per month may notice reduced speeds, and Metro customers may notice reduced speeds versus T-Mobile due to prioritization. Video streams and SD requires eligible port in and plan. See store for details.
Carter or whatever, and you could do a defense against evil, and it's kind of like the Bullet Club Civil War and stuff like that, headlining another show, a B show.
Yeah, definitely not like a Dominion, not a Wrestle Kingdom, but maybe like a King of Pro Wrestling or something like that could be a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Evil always tends to kind of have like a sort of a highish standing on the King of Pro Wrestling card, if I remember correctly.
That's because that's after G1. He'll always, get a sneaky win over Okada at the G1 or something like that, and challenge the King of Pro Wrestling.
Exactly. So that's cool. But all in all, we were like, we'll try and make this whole show an hour. It's an hour now, just talking about Dontaku. But it was awesome.
Not even worried about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to.
It was so nice. It was so nice opening wrestling Twitter and seeing people like, oh fuck yeah, New Japan. This was great. And like on the back of this amazing New Japan Cup, this the challenge that they did between Zack Sabre Jr. and Okada, that whole show was great. Windy City Riot should have been in there because that was a pretty top-notch card that went the way of the dodo because of technical issues, but there was nothing wrong with the wrestling that night. And then this show is great. So New Japan's been on a fucking tear, dude. And it's so cool to see people who, 2 years ago or a year and a half even were like, New Japan's dead, fucking bury that shit. It's done, and now people are fucking putting respect on New Japan, and it feels fucking good, dude. Yeah, it feels really good.
It's really cool, especially like seeing it out for so long and, and wearing it out. Like it's nice to see it come back around, That's why I wanted to start the show even before I knew it was going to kind of be the thing, because I was starting to feel really disconnected from it, and it's such like a huge part of my fandom and something like I really enjoyed traveling to see and all of that stuff. I was like, maybe if I make an effort and like talk about it with my friend and look at it more regularly, maybe I'll start to feel better about it. And then when they announced that New Japan fucking Cup, man, with all those extra people, that's why I had you on my show and in our original New Japan Cup day. And it begins as a rant, like me being like, what are these motherfuckers doing? I'm so mad. Like, I called you and I'm like, want to come on my show so I can fucking bitch about this thing. And it then ended up spitting into this show and us actually being really happy with how it's going. So I'm feeling really stoked with how it's all played out. Yeah, exactly.
Good things popping, dude.
Yeah.
And speaking of good things popping, the news that came out today, that Forbidden Door, that niche show that only appeals to a niche of a niche of a niche audience, sold like 11,000 tickets in like 30 minutes.
I saw some dumb motherfucker on Twitter being like, oh, New Japan on Access did like 0% viewership in the demo. Hopefully they're not going to regret releasing Forbidden Door because maybe they're not going to sell any tickets. And people were sharing this tweet like, this dude don't even know. And then it like sells out in like seconds. Like
the only reason that it didn't sell the whole thing for the pre-sale is because they deliberately held back like 3,000 tickets to actually sell on the day.
Yeah.
Pre-sale sold out like in less than an hour.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's amazing. Yeah. It's so good.
So that they've held back like 3,000 for walk-ups, basically.
No, it's for like so this was a pre-sale. Then the actual sale happens later on this week, okay. I think, like internet sales. And then they won't have walk-ups. Yeah. The thing will be sold out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
no, that's awesome, man. And I think it's a show that people have wanted for a very long time. And I think both companies are gonna, like, I don't think this is gonna be Wrestle Kingdom Night 3, Noah and New Japan like holding hands and just fucking about, and just like, I think they're gonna look to make a major impact on the wrestling world and make moments and have people gifting stuff and tweeting stuff and really make some shit happen. People laying down,
Lord help me,
that you wouldn't expect.
This is gonna be a touchstone moment in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Hear me now and listen to me later. This shit's gonna be fucking huge. And I there's me making the bold prediction that AEW and New Japan teaming up for a mega show is gonna be a huge thing.
I know.
Like, bold of me to assume, right? But this is gonna be a fucking moment, dude.
Yeah.
I promise you.
It's gonna be awesome.
Promise.
What's the date on this bad boy? Because I'm feeling like I need to get the day off work or some shit.
June 20-something. The 20-something of June.
The 20-something. Tell me it's a Friday. That'd be so hot.
So it's a Sunday.
Oh, a Sunday for you or a Sunday? Oh, it'll be a Sunday for you. It'll be a Monday.
Sunday for me. Well, it'll be early Monday morning for me. Even Monday morning for you as well. Sunday night for America.
Yeah. Fuck. Guess I'll be watching the replay like the next day, unless I take it off. But I mean, I've just had so much leave, so I don't know. Anyway, I'll deal with that when I come to it. I've media blacked out before for wrestling. It won't be the first and it won't be the last. So
fair enough. I mean, the things we got to do for living in a place that isn't.
That's
it.
It's just always better when you watch it live. You know what I mean? Like,
it really is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then it's especially for big events like Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I get Wrestle Kingdom off every year.
Yeah.
You know, I make sure if I'm working those nights, I'll leave early just to make sure I'm in front of my TV for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, exactly. Wrestle Kingdom always works out good for me, even if it is a work day, because I could do a leave early, because we see it like Japan's an hour ahead of us. So the show starts at 5, it's starting here at 4, you know, so that normally works out fine. But because it's in America, then it kind of fucks me a bit.
Well, let's end our show tonight by doing a breakdown of these beautiful blocks for the best of the Super Juniors. I'm so excited. I like when these blocks were getting announced, it was just like, stop. My nipples can only get so hard, guys.
You sent me the picture and I replied, is this fucking real? Like, I didn't believe that it was so fire. I was like, this is a fan-made thing. Like,
this is a wish list. This is wish listing. This is fucking booking. This is fan booking.
Yeah, it's hot, man. It is so absolutely hot. Let's just go through both blocks, A and B. We were talking about taking turns and messing about. But let's just kind of talk about each of the entrants and sort of see where this takes us. Yeah. So
let's start. Do you want to go A block, B block, A block, B block, like that, or do you want to just go all the way through?
Actually, no. Let's let's do all of A and then all of B. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
A block.
So A
Start
block,
now.
we start out, of course, with Taguchi. Now, this is maybe like I said, the only kind of a little bit of a downer on this tournament for me. And like you said, everybody needs a night off. I've said it myself before. We were kind of playing around with the idea of maybe doing best case, worst case scenarios for both guys. We're not going to do that. We're not going to overdo that gimmick, so to speak. But I started with Taguchi, and I was like, best case, keeps his pants on for the entire show. Like, it's the entire thing, because I'm very concerned that it's going to be like the Taguchi G-string show in what is going to be, I think, for a lot of new fans that are going to start coming in leading up to Forbidden Door, like a display of what the juniors can do.
Let's do this. Can you pick out a match in that block, in that A block, that you're most excited for Taguchi?
Most excited for? Okay, so let's have a look.
Who are you most excited to see Taguchi in fight in this A block?
Clark Connors.
That's fair. Why Clark Connors for Taguchi?
Because I just think he's going to mow him. I think he's just going to completely mince him. I think it's going to be Trophy Kill City, and he's just going to destroy him.
Right on. All right, next up, Yo.
That's worst case scenario with Taguchi for me. Taguchi versus Yo, I can't imagine caring less. At the start of this A block, these two guys, with the exception of Watto down below, are the only three in this tournament I don't give a fuck about.
That's fair.
Yeah. But Yo, who cares? I guess he'll probably go quite deep into it in the end. I hope he doesn't win it. And then that's Yo. Next after that is Clark Connors. Very excited to see his inclusion in this. To see him in
Wild
Japan.
Rhino returns to Japan, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so jacked.
It's so cool. He's in like the best shape ever. He's probably my favorite, like LA Dojo young lion. And I just think he brings something different to this entire field than anybody else does. And it could be a real showing out party for him.
Who are you most excited to see Clark match up with?
Okay, so in this field, I would say Clark Connors and Hiromu, or is it Sho, or is it Ace Austin? Could be really interesting as well.
I think Hiromu is going to bump like a fucking madman for Clark.
I think Hiromu or Sho, maybe.
That's
Sho will probably
good
win
ones.
with a wrench, but I could picture those two having like a really good like suplex fest kind of match.
Yep. Next up, power versus power for that one's going to be fun. Next up, we got the current Best of the Super Juniors champion, Hiromu Takahashi. How you feeling on Hiromu's chances this year?
I hope he doesn't win again. I feel like he's won it like 500 times, and he's also been carrying around that trophy for ages, and I'm sick of seeing it. Like, it doesn't even feel, the trophy doesn't even feel special this year because I've seen it every single day since he won it. You know, like, is how I am.
He did it at Dontaku. He left the trophy in the ring.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, how'd I miss that? Oh, because that match fucking put me to sleep. That's why. So yeah, I want to see great matches from Hiromu, but I don't want to see him win the tournament.
Fair point. Okay, Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
I like Kanemaru. I hope to see that move where he like puts them on the railing and runs from behind and then jumps over them and like axe leg drops them over their neck, like to the outside. I love that move when he does it. And I think he's going to have, like, I feel like he's a sleeper in this tournament, not necessarily to win the entire thing, but to deliver great matches with all these guys.
Francesco Akira, I'm sorry, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, I'm looking at Francesco Akira. Yoshinobu Kanemaru is the dude who is such a steady hand, he can walk anybody through a good match.
Yeah.
You could put him in with a sack of potatoes and he would carry it to at least 2.5 stars.
Absolutely.
So like, and I think having some young baby faces in this match, like Yo or Clark Connors, like he can show them, like he'll be a heel and make them look so good just by being in the ring with him.
Absolutely. Not to mention, this man is 45 years old. Like, and he can hang with all these guys. He's been wrestling for so long. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to have some great matches.
Next up, the current Impact Wrestling X Division champion, Ace Austin. How do you feel about Impact Wrestling as a whole, or the X Division maybe? Do you know anything about?
Look, I know a little bit about it. I haven't been up to date with it. There was sort of a time where I was like right on top of it. There was like, we don't get like a lot of wrestling on TV here, but there was a time when Impact was just regularly on like Foxtel, which is our cable. I don't know why. It was like the kind of like Moose, EC3, Matt Hardy type era. And so when it was on regularly and I could just like set my thing to tape and stuff, I used to watch it a lot. And then so Ace Austin wasn't really a part of it then, but I've since watched a few episodes and stuff with him. And I think he's got like a huge upside. He's in like tremendous physical condition. He's normally got Madman Fulton with him. I don't know if he'll be coming with him, or at least he did in the stuff that I've watched. I don't know if they're still together appearing. I don't know if he'll be with him in this tournament. It would be cool if he was, because that big enforcer sort of suits his character as well. But yeah, Ace Austin's essentially Gambit from the X-Men. And yeah, he's incredibly talented.
Fucking hates that. Shane's favorite comic book character in the world is Gambit, and he fucking hates that Ace Austin is coming out with like the card and the bow staff and shit. He just can't take it.
He can't take
it. My co-host on Smart Foundation, Shane, hates it.
Yeah, well,
and it's like, dude, he's fucking Gambit. That's amazing. If someone came out dressed as Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles, you'd think that was awesome. And he's like, no, fuck him.
But yeah, I think this will be like some needed credibility for Ace Austin. You know what I mean? Like, you can be a really good wrestler, but you're still a really good wrestler in Impact. And that still, despite a lot of their rebuilding they've been doing, has a little bit of a stigma to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It still feels a little bit small league and stuff. And I haven't seen him anywhere else. So this will be his biggest showing to date. And he's in a huge round robin tournament in Japan. I'm sure we're going to see things from him that we haven't seen before, and a grittier kind of style. And I think he's going to really impress.
All right. Next up, Alex Zane, the Sauce. This guy comes out. He looks like a space pirate. He's a lot of fun to watch. He was in WWE for like 6.5 minutes. I think he had a cup of coffee there and then got fired. And he's back on New Japan Television. He was on Strong a lot when it first started. I like Alex Zane. He's fun to watch. Something about him visually rubs me the wrong way. I don't know if it's his mustache.
The mustache is
stylish ponytail.
Yeah, the mustache is a new addition. He's changed up his sort of color scheme as well into bright reds and stuff, which I don't love. But I do really like Alex Zane. I know him from GCW stuff, and then he started to do stuff with New Japan. I actually met him once at the TGI Fridays at the Dome, along with Lance Archer and Kevin Kelly and a whole bunch of people that were there. And he was really cool. I was talking to him for a bit. He's obviously a big fan of Taco Bell, so that was a fun thing. There's a Taco Bell right near the Dome, so he's going to be stoked. But yeah, the mustache, the like pirate mustache is a new addition. I don't know whether it was directly, he like hurt his eye quite bad at GCW in his first ever death match. He like fractured his orbital bone or something like that.
Oh shit!
And so he actually had like an eye patch on for a hot second. So maybe he just lent into that and went to like the twirly mustache as well.
Yeah, the first time I saw him recently, when he came out with like the red vest on that had the fluff on it and stuff, I was just like, this guy looks like he looks like the first mate dude from Pirates of Dark Water. I don't know if anybody remembers that cartoon.
Yeah.
But man, that was the shit.
Yeah, that's
So-
it's been an interesting choice and a change of gear. But yeah, I mean, if you don't know his story, I know a little bit about him in that, like, he was just like sort of a local guy, and GCW do this show called like Backyard Wrestling every now and then, where it's kind of like, it's funny because like the GCW wrestlers will like wrestle in their old gimmicks that they had when they were kids and shit. Like they'll wrestle under different names. Atticus Kogar and his brother Otis Kogar recently had a match against each other where they were both Kane and the Undertaker and stuff, like, because they used to love them when they were kids. It's hell funny. But and so Alex was just on there. He was just like a guy in track pants doing like these ridiculous like flips and crazy stuff, and it sort of went viral. And then he started to, I guess, take it more seriously or get taken seriously, and then upped his gear, and everybody was like talking about these matches he was having. And then, yeah, he got signed to WWE, and then they made him like a big part of like 205 Live. But then when they nixed that show, he got nixed along with a ton of people, you know, in all those like mass releases. So it wasn't really like he did a shit job and got fired. It was just like, all these people got to go. Like hundreds of people lost their jobs, and he was one of them. But he, you know, made the most of it, and he's bounced back to GCW, and then immediately went back to Strong, and then it's really cool to see him in Best of Super Junior. So I'm actually excited to see what he does in this, and I think probably I'd be looking forward to seeing him versus a bunch of these guys, him and Ace Austin Mutera, him and Hiromu, him and Clark Connors, like, you know, all the faces I keep talking about that stand out to me. He's going to be one of them for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
Next up, Francesco Akira.
Still haven't seen him wrestle.
Fireball Francesco.
Haven't looked up a video. I've just been waiting. I'm like, I'll wait and see what he does and things. So I'm excited to see.
The dude can go.
Yeah,
he can go. And I'm really excited for. I mean, his introduction was a bit of a wet fart, but like, yeah, when he gets going, you're gonna see some fun shit come out of Francesco Akira. Yeah, the newest member of United Empire. Like, it's the United Empire is an actual stable again. It's fantastic. They've got representation. Speaking of, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Francesco Akira. He looks a little funny, man. He can throw down in the ring. Yeah, you're gonna see some shit come out of that boy. I think his style, and him and Alex Zane are gonna have a fucking field day.
Yeah, wow.
They're gonna be like, dude, we're in Japan together. We're in Best of Super Juniors. Let's fucking go, and it's gonna be great.
Sick. Is he that sort of wrestler? That flippy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that'll be crazy then.
Next up, the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Taijishimuri. I know you're not psyched about this.
Don't really care. I just want him to make me care, but he has yet to ever do it. But he's the new champion, so he'll be defending it. And I'm sure he's not putting it on the line in the tournament, but he is the champion, and he'll be picking up wins accordingly, and also potentially setting up some defenses.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I was going to wait for the end. There's 4 different singles belts from 4 different companies in this tournament. Like, they're going to be setting up defenses all over the joint. It's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he and Clark Connors do together. I mean, Ishimori being so fucking fast, it's going to be great to see him versus that entire block of Ace Austin, Francesco Akira, and Alex Zane. Let's just hope he's got his working boots on for it. And finally, in the A block, last entrance in the A block is Show. How are you feeling about the Murder Machine?
I'm feeling good about Show and good about his new nickname. I think he'll probably go pretty deep in this, to be honest. I think when you look at everybody in his block, he's like really the only dastardly heel. And I think we'll see Show bullshit. I think we'll see some wrench action, and I think we'll see him at the very least in like the semis.
Yep. All right. So heading on to the B block. Master Watto is your first entrant. Master Watto he's had a lot of trouble as a singles wrestler recently. You know, he's been in a team with Ryusuke Taguchi, trying to like kind of hold his hand and let him not be the person to carry the match, let him be carried to matches, and let's see if maybe, you know, Baby Duck's got to swim eventually. So this could be a breakout moment for Master Watto. He's in here with a lot of really good wrestlers, man, and they might be able to make him look like $1 million.
Absolutely. I think it'll be a bit of a sink or swim situation because there's a chance that he'll be able to hang and look really great because of it, or there's a chance that he just looks like the loser of the block. So he's going to need to step up in a big way.
Bushi's in the block, so I mean,
but Bushi's still going to look great doing it.
That's true. That Prada and Dolce & Gabbana and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's still going to look great doing it, but yeah, Watto's not going to look as cool. So
next up is your friend Robbie Eagles.
Yeah, buddy.
Coming over from Oz, baby. Gonna do some sharp shooting. I'm excited, dude.
He's got some stiff competition, man. This B block is fucking stacked.
So good. It's so good. I mean, I'm just gonna like Robbie versus Teton, Robbie versus Despy again, Robbie versus El Lindemann, Robbie versus Wheeler Yuta. Like, bro, another match with El Phantasmo. Fuck yeah. Like, this is gonna be so good.
Yeah.
I'm so jacked, man.
B block is so fire.
Oh God, it doesn't get much better than that. All right. Next up, we have the current CMLL. Where was it? What's the name of that fucking belt? That's what it is. The World Welterweight Championship. CMLL World Welterweight Championship, Teton. We haven't seen Teton in New Japan in a few years, obviously. I'm very excited for Teton to come back. I love this dude. Yeah. He's such like 100% corazon, 100% technico. Like, the dude is the good guy. And I'm so jacked to see what he's going to be able to do against like Doki and El Desperado and El Phantasmo. Like, that super good guy, mega baby face is going to be so much fun to see against those evil dastardly heels, dude. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Man, I love the names of the CMLL guys as well. Teton is awesome, and the mask and everything he's going to deliver is going to be sick. Fun story about the CMLL guys. I remember we were in Karakun Hall, and there's a big poster for Fantastica Mania on it, and on it has Soberano Jr. And Amy's like, I think I'm related to him. I'm Drunkarano Senior. So yeah, whenever we see her,
she's so witty.
She's really the queen of puns. But yeah, I'm very excited to see him with any combination of guys in this.
Yeah, Teton's one of my favorites. I always look forward to Fantastica Mania all the time just to see like Teton come over and ply his craft, because I love me a good like, technico baby face luchador.
Yeah, and it'll be fun seeing him in this scenario as well, because Fantastica Mania is always like, kind of like fun matches and a bit like, hey, whereas this is going to be like a tournament. Yeah, exactly. And so this is going to be a tournament, and it's going to be interesting seeing him apply that little bit more serious kind of outlook.
So next up is the B Block's night off, Bushi.
The mighty Bush.
Yeah. He's going to do things probably.
He's going to have some great looks.
Yeah.
He's going to strangle somebody with a T-shirt.
Yep. It's going to do that at least once.
Then next after him is the former junior heavyweight champion, El Desperado.
El Desperado, our boy Despy. Now, Desperado has just recently lost the junior heavyweight championship, so he's going to be probably looking to make a statement. I'm really hoping that this is like his chance to finally win a Best of the Super Junior.
I think they took the belt off it just so he could win it. It's almost how I feel about it.
With the junior heavyweight belt being in the A block, you would think that the winner's going to come from the B block, and I mean, smart money's got to be on probably either Robbie or El Desperado, right?
See, the only downside for me about this entire situation, I love that. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, then El Desperado gets the Best of Super Juniors win, and it leads to another match with Ishimori. Fucking sweet. That's where I'm at with this entire thing. I'm like, and we get a Bone Soldier match as as the ending.
Payoff.
You know what I mean? Opposed to the payoff being like, and whoever wins this block then has an absolute fucking banger with El Desperado. Maybe Ishimori could lose it.
He won't lose it during the tournament.
Not during the tournament, but maybe in like his first defense on some big show. So, okay, let's do this real quick. I'm going to derail our entire plans.
Uh-oh.
So, say he's going to take a pin in his block to set up a defense straight after at the first show that happens afterwards. Who do you have pin him to then have that banger match with the best of the Super Juniors winner, El Desperado?
Ooh.
And that's why. And then now I like this idea, but I immediately hate that. Say like somebody like Wheeler Yuta isn't in the same block, because then you could have like the match on Forbidden Door. Wheeler Yuta becomes the new junior champion, and then El Desperado banger match. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at the A block. I would love to see Clark Connors win it. Hiromu's always solid, of course. Let's give it a like a far shot out of here and put it on someone like Francesco Akira, or Ace Austin.
Yeah, Ace Austin would be interesting, having it on like the Impact X Division champion. That's pretty interesting.
I think Impact gets kind of shafted with all the Forbidden Door stuff. Like people kind of forget that it's even a thing, like the big show is, you're probably going to have some ROH representation on there. ROH doesn't even have television right now. Impact's probably going to get a little bit of shoved to the side a little bit. And maybe it might be nice to have Ace Austin, get a big time win over Taijishimuri.
I don't hate it. And for Impact, they're obviously like, you can use Gallows and Anderson, we give Jay White work. You know what I mean? They're a big linchpin in the whole Forbidden Door scenario, and they're not even on the poster of that show. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it would be nice if they go, okay, well, cool. The trade-off is we want one of our upcoming stars. He doesn't really wrestle other places. He's just our guy, Ace Austin. We want him in Best of the Super Juniors. We want him to win. He becomes the champion, and then you get that Ace Austin El Desperado match would be really interesting as well. And I think it'd get people talking about Ace Austin and Impact. So, yeah, that would be best case scenario.
Definitely. Next up is our boy Doki. So I love Doki. And I cannot wait to see what he and Teton have cooked up for this, because they're going to just go off. It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be Lucha City, eh?
It's going to be fantastic. Now, next person up, tell me about El Lindemann. Talk to me about El Lindemann right now.
Yeah, so I love the Strong Hearts, and I love El Lindemann. I've seen him live a bunch of times, mainly in tag scenarios, like 6-man tags, 8-man tags, where him and the other Strong Hearts just absolutely decimate their opponents with like combination finishes until it's like no doubt that person's in the ground and they have won. But he's like super like grapply, like low center of gravity, German suplexy, like grind him out type guy. He's probably he's one of my favorites, if not my favorite Strong Heart. Has a lot of charisma, and I think we'll see him do really good in this. And you're going to see some dream matches, like you said, it's like Robbie, Teton, El Desperado, Doki, Yuta, Phantasmo, all of those guys with Lindemann is going to be absolutely fine. Even TJP will be. I mean, TJP's a really good wrestler. It's easy, again, to breeze over him too because of, his reputation and stuff. But he's a great wrestler, and I really liked him in the Cruiserweight Classic and stuff like that.
Yep. Now, when you say that he's like a grappler and he's got a low center of gravity and stuff like that, how much are you looking forward to him and Wheeler Yuta, him and Big Shooter Yuta?
Yeah, exactly. The Ring of Honor pure champion Wheeler Yuta.
Pure champion.
Yeah. Yep. It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good.
That's the 4th belt in this 20-man tournament. There's 1 belt for every 5 dudes.
That's nuts. Put them all on the line at the same time. Add some more stakes to this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
That would be fun.
Wheeler
Imagine that
Yuta,
if
like-
somebody like Wheeler Yuta's like, I'm the pure champion. I didn't win this belt to not defend it. And if anybody else has balls in this tournament, they're going to put their belts up too. And then it's just like chaos. it's like belts are flying around, and it's like I walked in the pure champion, but I guess now I'm the CMLL
champion.
Exactly. Yeah, it'd be wild. They won't do it, but it would be crazy.
It would be a lot of fun because you could have him lose it to somebody on night 2, and then that person loses it to somebody on night 4, and then he wins it back from that person on night 8.
That's what I mean. He could go in and out and still end up the champion, like the same champion he was when he started even. So that would be wild.
Wheeler Yuta, he's been made a star recently.
They have.
His name is on everyone's
built him.
lips.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done a phenomenal job with him and the Blackpool Combat Club. Like the BCC was almost just built to be a vehicle for him, to give him credibility and push him. Do you think, I mean, there's probably no way, but Regal's not with him in this tournament, is he?
No, I don't think they would take either of those guys, any of those guys off TV.
Yeah.
Because they'll be off TV for a month while this tournament's going on.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be awesome.
I'm surprised they let
Regal
Wheeler
ringside.
I'm so surprised they let Regal or Wheeler out of their sight for that long.
He was not the one that I thought would be in this tournament.
Dante Martin.
Yeah, or Lee Moriarty, or one of those guys that's young, upcoming, and hot, but they could be without for a little bit. That they're not doing as much.
They went for the big gun.
I thought Wheeler and Garcia would be both off the table because they're doing so much on TV.
Yeah, they went for the big gun.
Yeah,
they went for Wheeler Shuta.
Yeah, well, they know he's got
awesome.
he in a sense is the perfect guy to do this tournament because at the moment it's all about building his credibility. To stand next to Moxley and Danielson. And it's okay, he's earned their respect. Now those guys have done tournaments overseas. Those guys have won Ring of Honor titles and and gritty independent titles and things like that. So it's cool. Now we give him he gets the pure title, and then he's entering himself in the best of the Super Juniors, and just building up his resume as a hard hitting guy. And I feel we'll probably see a pretty dominant performance from him because they're wanting to shore up that relationship with AEW, and they're going to want their guy to look really good. So he may not win the whole thing, but he's going to be looking pretty good as it all plays out.
Absolutely. I think 100%. Wheeler's going to have big matches. He's probably going to be in a lot of main events, and he's probably going to win quite a few of them.
Yeah, exactly right.
Next up, looks like TJP got his vaccine, so that's cool.
Yeah.
He's going to do really cool things. He's people, like you said, sleep on him because he's got a reputation for being a dick. But I mean, in the ring, dude can go.
Yeah.
And
he absolutely
can. He's a member of the United Empire. So I think he was the first. He was the first junior for the United Empire. And he's going to be doing representation in the B block for them. I'm excited. He's going to have a bunch of really good matches. He's had a couple of matches, I think, with Wheeler in Strong already, so that'll be fun. His style is going to mix really well with El Desperado. It's going to mix really well with Robbie Eagles, probably with Teton as well.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it.
I think it's going to be a real good showing from TJP. I want to try. I don't know. This year, I'm so exhausted with sort of knowing so much about people's real lives through Twitter and stuff like that. I'm just going to try and watch the wrestling that's in front of me. You know what I mean? Like I said, I really like TJP in the Cruiserweight Classic. I was really hoping they would do something with him in the, 205 show or whenever he started coming out. It was back when I used to watch WWE. I can't really remember, but when he debuted and he had the cool video game music and stuff. I just felt like as a package, he was really well put together, and I thought he's an amazing wrestler. And I just you let those kind of things where people he was saying these stupid things on the internet or his opinion is this or whatever. I just want to kind of try and let that go and just see if I can just enjoy wrestling a little bit, just because I'm a little bit exhausted with having to sort of know these things about people. You know what I mean? Like
That's the thing.
The line that
be...
I'm able to draw in my head that Hulk Hogan is a childhood hero and Terry Bollea is a piece of shit. I want to try and like just draw that line more often, just because I'm exhausted, man. I'm so tired, like, of just the misery, like, and I'm just like, I just got to stop. I just got to stop. You know, what's presented in front of me, I'm just going to try and enjoy. Like,
that's fair.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair. And like
some people may think that's slack, and we have a duty to sort of, you know these things and judge people for these actions and hold people accountable and stuff. But I just can't.
You're not buying his T-shirt.
Yeah,
you're not the one booking him.
Exactly.
You know,
I just need to trust that New Japan have vetted their people and that they're like, going to put on a good show and that's it. You know what I mean? That's all you can do. Exactly. I don't, like you said, I don't need to buy his T-shirt or support him in any way. Like, but I can still watch and enjoy a wrestling match.
Yeah, exactly. And our final entrant in the B block, El Phantasmo.
Yeah,
El Phantasmo.
He's gonna.
I'm excited to see.
Be great. I'm gonna be excited to see him with anybody in this block.
Yeah, this B block, just from top to bottom, is studs.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Well, top to semi bottom. There's a couple
from top till second from the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple there, but you know what? Those guys have both proved they can go when necessary, and just at the moment they haven't. So they're going to have many opportunities within this block to impress.
So to wrap it up, let's do a little pick'em. Let's do, here's where we could do best case, worst case. Best case scenario coming out of the A block. Who do you think is the best case scenario to come out of the A block?
Best case scenario out of the A block. For me, my best case scenario is... Fuck, I probably wouldn't have said this before, but you've definitely taught me into Ace Austin. That's like a really cool scenario, I think. I'm tied between Clark Connors, Ace Austin, and Show.
Okay. What about worst case out of the A block? You've got a couple there that you can choose from.
Yo, Taguchi, or Hiromu. So, I think let's be firm on some. So, I'm just going to go my own personal best case scenario. Things aside, let's go. My best case is going to be Clark Connors. I would love to see this just launch him into maybe being a full-time Japan style, Japan side, Japan roster junior. And worst case would be Yo.
All right. Okay.
And yourself?
And Ace Austin. And B block, best case scenario, worst case scenario.
Okay. We're doing all me first, then you. Or was what was your best case, worst case for A?
Oh, for A block? Mm-hmm. Best case for me for A block, I'm going to think probably Clark Connors as well, although Ace Austin would be really cool. I would like to see somebody in, one of these other champions show up and have a really great showing. Worst case scenario for me is definitely going to be Yo. It's hard to give a shit really sometimes.
Well, let's do it like we've done it in the past. So we'll find a consensus. So are we agreeing that our best case scenario is Ace Austin, or our best case scenario together is Clark Connors? The Ace Austin scenario we laid out was pretty fun.
It is, but at the end of the day, Ace Austin is an Impact Wrestling guy.
That's building an Impact wrestler. Clark Connors is best case scenario. Absolutely. So Clark Connors, best case, worst case scenario, Yo. Yeah, absolutely.
I just don't give a shit. I just don't give a shit about Yo.
In any
way.
And
sometimes I want to so bad and I just can't.
No, I don't give a fuck. Maybe this tournament will give us a reason to. So we'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
B block, best case scenario.
Best case scenario for B block. I would like to see Robbie Eagles win B block.
Hell yeah. That sounds awesome.
I feel like if we've got to just go the standard way of it getting to a title match with Ishimori, my favorite scenario would be Eagles wins Super Juniors, then he beats Ishimori. And then you can get back around to El Desperado and Eagles and give Eagles a good run with the belt. I think I would like that.
Yep. That sounds really good to me, man.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that, or I'd love to see, seeing Wheeler Yuta have a great run would be awesome.
He's
but again,
a very real chance, because what we were saying about the other one, like, ASOS is an Impact guy. They're really like tying that AEW New Japan thing together. And so he's a very real chance of going very deep, if not fucking winning it,
Yeah, it's true. It really is. I mean, it depends on, I guess, how deep their partnership really goes. If they would choose to have someone, not just a foreigner win, but a foreigner who is also contracted to another company. Like, that's fucking huge.
Contracted to another company and then holds the belt of yet another company.
Yet another company. That's what I'm saying. There's 4 belts here from 4 different companies.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild, man. This is great, dude. Like, I'm gonna take the L on this one.
Yeah.
When they were first started talking about the Forbidden Door stuff, I was like, nah, fuck it, keep it closed. Fuck AEW.
Yeah.
Nope, I was wrong.
Don't feel that way now.
I'll take the L on that one. So many times, like, I'll fucking go put my head in the fucking microwave right now and give a shit. I took the fucking L.
Yeah.
All right.
No. It is fine. I mean, a lot of stuff has changed. So we agree best case scenarios for us is Robbie Eagles winning B block.
Robbie Eagles, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Worst case scenario?
I mean, it's Watto, right?
It's got to be Watto.
I mean,
like...
To be honest, I'm maybe not even sure it's worst case scenario, because I'd be like, it's fucking Watto? Like, I'd be actually shocked. Like, I think, who would be the worst?
Oh man, maybe the best case scenario might be El Phantasmo.
Oh, that would be cool too. I'm going to stick with Robbie, but El Phantasmo, I would not have a problem. Many of the people in this block, I mean, all but 2, all are amazing choices. Is worst case scenario, is it Bushi or Watto? I almost feel like Bushi is the more boring choice of the 2.
Bushi is the more boring choice. I don't think there's any chance in the world that Bushi wins this tournament.
No. I feel like that's worst case, because I feel like if Watto won B block, I feel like he would have done enough that would be like, fucking let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I reckon we're fully on board with Watto by the end of the block if he wins it.
That's absolutely fair. Yeah, man. Like, Watto has the chance to touch our hearts and minds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
where Bushi,
he might spark our imagination.
Yeah, exactly. Bushi cannot do that. So Bushi's worst case. All right.
I think you're right.
Okay, and then so then in the finals we're looking at Robbie Eagles versus Clark Connors. And so
yeah, I'm into it.
Either one is a fucking awesome option. I feel like Robbie would be the more likely, but I don't hate just launching an entirely new star. Like, graduates LA Dojo, comes to best of the Super Juniors, completely different wrestler to anybody else in the field, just mows everybody, wins best of the Super Juniors. You could put him on that Shingo track. You know, when Shingo was like in the junior division but shouldn't have even really been there? Everyone's like, he's a fucking junior? He's huge. And then he just destroys the division, wins everything, and then goes to open one. Like, just put him on that road. I don't hate that at all.
It's true. It's true. But then, like, and Robbie's had a run. Robbie's had a run with the title. You know, it wasn't a very long one. He deserves a really good one.
Yeah.
Man, it would be really awesome to just watch Clark Connors be a fucking man and just walk through this fucking tournament. Would be so cool.
I love it when they use tournaments to launch a brand new star. Like, and it doesn't really happen often enough. You know, like they'll use it, like they'll use it to show out and stuff, but it's very rarely that you know, wild card just wins it all and you're left just going, he fucking won? Like, you know, like, yeah, I don't hate that at all, man. I'm kind of torn because in all reality, like, you think Robbie stands a very good chance to win the entire thing, whereas Clark Connors would be the outside chance. But that story we laid out, you and me with our fantasy booking, fuck, that would be cool. But yeah,
There's, there's a couple of really good shots in both blocks. Like, I think B block is a little bit more open, but A blocks, Ishimori could win it. Sho could win it. Hiromu could win it again. Like, there's a couple there or could be Clark Connors.
like, also, like, Akira is a brand new junior.
Francesco Akira.
Yeah, in a brand new faction, who this is the first we're going to see him. Like, maybe they're planning to put money into this dude. You know what I mean? Maybe they see him going quite far, and, like, maybe he's going to be on that Will Ospreay kind of track, like winning tournaments very early and stuff. So, you know, he could be on that track too. There's a lot of people that could potentially win it.
Man, I'm so excited for this tournament.
Yeah. So you've got to pick,
wide open.
Clark Connors or Robbie Eagles.
I want to see a brand new star be launched. I'm going to say Clark Connors.
Clark Connors would be.
I love Robbie.
Yeah.
I love Robbie so much, and that hurts.
And I think Robbie would stand the best chance of taking the belt off Ishimori as well, which I love. But yeah, we've fantasy booked ourselves into a shoot now, so Clark Connors would be a really cool option. In reality, he'll probably get hardly any wins and, like, you know, just kind of be there. But yeah, it would be cool.
You're new, kid. You're starting at the bottom of the fucking totem pole.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit rolls downhill.
That's how New Japan works for the most part. Then in worst case scenario, Yo versus Bushi.
Yo.
I still think Yo's the worst case scenario, because at least Bushi's going to look great. And at that point, again, it's like, well, maybe they're doing something that makes him interesting. I've seen a Yo push already, and it didn't convince me that anything interesting would happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, something's missing, man. Something's missing. It's gone. I thought maybe they rediscovered it last year during the Best of Super Juniors, and it's just dust in the wind, dude. Like, there's fucking nothing there.
Yeah. It's bad. He needs something. I don't know what needs to happen, but yeah. I still think they did the wrong turn. Like, I think Yo should be with House of Torture, and Sho would be like a fire fucking hoodie wearing German suplexing babyface. Like,
I think the thing is, that was the expected route.
But sometimes the expected is the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's sometimes doing what is expected isn't bad.
Yeah.
People will go like, "Oh, I saw that coming." It's like, yeah, but now you get to see fucking Sho turn into a fucking monster.
Yeah. Exactly. And the Murder Machine is cool. Like, he's picking up steam now, and I've never really been against him, even when everybody was madly hating House of Torture. I've always liked Sho. I've always had a soft spot for him. And, you know, crazy faces and stuff aside, he's getting there. And so it's going to be interesting to see what he does. He stands such a good chance of winning that block.
He does. Mostly because, like, we know that they do like to push House of Torture. So could be a thing. Even if he doesn't win the whole thing, he stands a pretty good chance of winning the block.
Yeah, absolutely he does. So yeah, that's Best of the Super Juniors, man. There's so many interesting combinations there, so many interesting matches. And then they still leave so much, like, because A and B don't verse each other, there's, like, looking up and down this card as well. It's like, oh, I wish these guys were in the same block, you know? So
there's so many that could be, like, future matchups.
Yeah. Exactly.
Very excited.
Yeah. Very excited. So, yeah, like you said, New Japan's back, man. It's absolutely killing it.
New Japan's back, baby.
Yeah, I'm for
New Japan is back.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well.
Feels so fucking good.
Yeah, I bet it does. And you know what else is going to feel good? You getting to have some sleep. And me maybe having a nap.
at this point, I'm just going to stay up and watch a hockey game.
Oh, really?
My fucking hockey team's playing right now. I might as well just stay up until about 5 a.m. and watch a hockey game.
Do you have work or no?
Fuck it. Tomorrow evening I do.
Oh, okay.
But as of right now, it's the fucking playoffs and Avalanche playing tonight. Got to watch the game.
There you go. Oh, well, banging. We'll tell people where to find you, my man, and let's wrap this sucker up.
Well, you can find me in my bed, but you can find me on social media at El Destructo 83. That's on Instagram and Twitter. you can find the show here on Instagram at Okada's Shorts. You can find it same for Twitter. Where can they find you, man?
You can find me at Faces Feels Cast on Instagram and Twitter. You can find my other podcasts at Faces and Feels, Pro Wrestling Podcast, on all of your podcasty type platforms. You can catch his other shows, the Smart Foundation and Throw and Dice Pod, on all those other platforms as well. And also you can count us, you can catch us on the Count Out Network feed as well, which is available on all platforms. And check out all things Count Out. There's heaps of other good shows on there. They've got a Patreon that's popping off at the moment, which seems to be doing really well.
If you find our naive business model of giving away free shows and entertainment to be oddly charming, you can go ahead and sign up for the pay. It's like a pay feed that they do that has all sorts of extra content on it. Some of it's wrestling, some of it's not. It's a grab bag, dude. You're gonna love it.
Yep.
So
they do heaps of extra stuff that are always like, hey guys, you want to get in and do this, and live shows and things like that. I have yet to do it because there's a very real time difference, and also I was on holidays and all the different things, but I'll probably jump in there and do some stuff with them eventually. I know you've done a little bit of extra stuff and been doing some crossovers with some of the other guys on the network. So yeah, I've been very impressed with what Count Out have been doing, and I'm really glad they convinced us to make this show.
Yeah, shout out Count Out. What's up?
What up, boys?
And
thank you.
We love that, and we love getting to know our new friends and coworkers. So
exactly.
But as of right now, I think we're done here. So
should we hit the lights and power it down? Exactly.
That's right.
All right. So
Rafe,
how do we end it? Oh, that's right. I say keep it right, keep it tight, and keep it short.
Word.
Gearheads know that some projects need so many parts, it feels like you need a whole storage unit just to store them. That's what eBay Motors' 122 million parts are for. Think of it as your virtual parts garage. They've always got the right fitment at the right prices. Use the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Only at Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade to 5G and get more savings with the lowest price on one line of unlimited 5G. Just $40, period. That's it. Taxes and fees included. Plus, more choices with the largest selection of free 5G phones from brands you love, like Samsung. Switch and save more. Only at Metro. Lowest price versus major national prepaid brands. The fraction of users greater than 35 gigabytes per month may notice reduced speeds, and Metro customers may notice reduced speeds versus T-Mobile due to prioritization. Video streams and SD requires eligible port in and plan. See store for details.